Once all the timesheets are approved, this will all flow towards the payroll. Let's head over there. Click Payroll and then Process Payroll under Payroll Events. On the Process Payroll page, you will see that we have not set up payroll yet. Don't worry, it's very easy to set it up in 3 steps. Step 1 is Pay Breakdown. This consists of creating the core components of the payroll, which are usually basic salary, housing allowance, or utility allowance, which are part of every pay. Step 2 includes the additional components that are paid based on various factors and positions, such as mobile allowance and travel allowance. Finally, Step 3 is Pay Structures, which allows you to bulk assign pay to employees based on their grades, tier, or departments as per company policy. Now let's head over to Step 1, which is Pay Breakdown. As explained, here you will add the core elements of the pay, which makes up gross pay for each employee. Let's add some components to see how easy it is to add these breakdowns. We will add basic, which is usually 65% of gross pay, housing allowance that is 20%, and transport allowance, which is 15% as the default breakdowns. These components are default building block for employees in all departments. You can add these based on your company policy. You have the option to make it as complex and as simple as you want with our exhaustive payroll settings. Once you have added the desired breakdown, let's head over to Pay Components. Click Payroll and then Pay Components. On the Pay Components page, you can add components for additions and deductions, as you can see. These components can be assigned to various pay structures on top of pay breakdowns we just made. Let's add a component to see how it works. We will add incentive/commissions for the sales department pay structure. This will only be assigned to them in addition to their pay breakdown. We will make it tax deductible, dependent upon payment days, and let's allow rounding off for convenience. We will assign an abbreviation or short code to remember it by, and lastly, we will also add a short description for clarity. We will add one more addition, annual bonus, with some tweaks in the similar way, and then head over to deductions. For deduction, we will add Provident Fund, and add the same details with other settings for this example. We will add one more deductions, which is insurance premiums, and add relevant details as well. Once all the pay components are made, we will now head over to our last step in setting up the payroll, which is Pay Structures. Click Payroll and then Pay Structures under Payroll Settings. Here, you can create new pay structures for different department or tiers in your company, allowing you to bulk assign this to employees. Click Create New button on top right to begin. Let's name the pay structure as Sales Department, Level 2. Give it a short code, SD2, and a brief description to remember that it is for the middle managers who are on Level 2 in the company. After that, you attach the pay components to it, so you can assign it to specific employees. Let's attach incentives and annual bonus under additions, and both of the deductions as well for this example. Once this is to your liking, press Next to proceed. The structures allows you the flexibility to customize the payroll as your company needs. Let's make the incentive/commissions a percentage of the basic pay, and annual bonus fixed at 5,000 dirhams. In the same way, we will assign these variables to our deductions as well. As you can see, you can either assign a percentage or a fixed amount based on the company policy and departments. Once you have customized this as per your need, you will then assign it to the relevant employees to make sure it's active. We will assign this to Noah and Alexander in the sales department and proceed. You will return back to the pay structure screen where you can see the newly created structure for sales department, the number of employees it is assigned to, and you can edit it again or archive it if it's no longer used. You can create additional structures in the same way. Now, since all this is done, let's head over to Employee Pay Breakdown to enter the amounts for specific employees. For this example, I have entered the amounts for Alexander and Noah in the sales department. It is very easy to add or edit the payroll for them. Let's click Edit to see how it's done. You will see the pop-up with payroll type, frequency, and breakdowns listed with components. Here you can enter value for each line item, which will be summed to calculate gross pay for Alexander. Now, let's process the payroll to see how simple it is for everyone. We will head over to Process Payroll section under Payroll Module. Click Create on the top right side, which will give you option to either create it for all employees or selected ones. We will click Selected Employees and choose Alexander and Noah and press Next, opening a pop-up. The pop-up will ask you details about this event. Let's name it Sales Department for our reference. The payroll duration would be whole of March 2024, and the pay date would be the 4th of April 2024. Let's approve all pending timesheets for the selected employees so it's all up to date. This will fetch the latest data from the timesheets and generate the payroll for the date range for the employees selected. The payroll event consists of 4 parts. The first part is review hours, which is normally done by line manager or HR department. The second step is review leave pay, which is mostly done by line managers or HR department. Third part is additional pay, which is normally done by accountants or finance manager in your company. Lastly, you have review payroll, which is approved and submitted by CFO or Director Finance to ensure there are no errors. You can configure user permissions to ensure every role sees only the step that is relevant to them. Here you can see the payroll duration, number of employees, status of the event, which is draft, the pay dispersal date, and total gross payroll along with working days in the month. Below this, you can see the gross pay, days off, days present, and total hours by the employees. You will also see overtime if it's allowed for anyone. Once it's cross-checked, you can head over to next step. You can also save this event as draft at this stage or cancel the event altogether. The next step confirms the paid and unpaid leaves for the same employees, triggering you to approve any leave requests that may have been pending in the system. Press Next if all is well. This step is where you can edit the additions and deduction components that we added during setup. You can change the amounts for any components easily, and it will auto-calculate the gross pay based on your input. You can do this for both additions and deductions based on the variables during the selected date range. This will lead you to the last step, which is just reviewing the whole payroll. This is usually done by head of finance or CFO, who will have visibility to everything related to payroll, such as date of joining, bank details, breakdown, additions, and deductions, along with any expenses that are reimbursed. They can review this and approve, which will generate an SIF file for bank use, and Excel file, which you can use for your own records. This flow allows you to minimize the errors due to the chain of command and limited scope for each role. You will now be redirected again to the Payroll Events main page, where you will see this newly created event with high-level details. This concludes the demo of the Payroll module, and as you can see, it is very simple and easy to set it up and process.